House Greyjoy is smushed between House Stark and House Lannister. Let's keep it a buck. House Stark has to march south eventually. And Lannister doesn't want House Greyjoy sitting on their doorstep. So Greyjoy, despite being protected on its puny little island here and having a very, very strong navy, the strongest one in the game, protecting it, people are going to want to take them out. So this means that Greyjoy has to act fast and occupy as many castles as possible early in the game for mustering later on down the road. Occupying Seaguard, occupying Flint's Finger. Let's sit here and be honest. Riverrun is a prime target. Lannister, who is first on the Iron Throne track, is obviously going to move first before Greyjoy. And they are obviously going to take Riverrun. This means that Greyjoy has to launch a counterattack, either the round of or the round after, whichever one. One way or another, Greyjoy is likely going to knock Lannister out of Riverrun regardless because their house cards are so powerful. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Greyjoy does not have a lot of mobility early in the game. Seeing as when it comes down to star orders, everyone else is high up on the Messenger Raven, the King's Court influence track, but Greyjoy's all the way at the back. So he can play 0 star orders, which means not only does he have lack of mobility, but all of those orders are going to be relatively weak. This is why Greyjoy has to play land grabbing early in the game so it can muster troops later in the game. Let's go over Greyjoy's house card deck right now. Very strong. Euron Crow's Eye. He has 4 points just like Eddard Stark. He only has 1 sword icon, not 2, but only 1. Even then, that's a free unit that they're going to be killing during combat. Balon Greyjoy only has 2, but his effect is just amazing. The printed combat strength of the opponent's house card is reduced to 0. So if Balon Greyjoy goes toe-to-toe with Stannis Baratheon, that means Stannis Baratheon, who has 4 points, is going to be reduced to 0, leaving Balon Greyjoy ahead of him by 2. This is a very useful card to have. This is a very useful card to have. Victarion Greyjoy. All of his ships go from 1 to 2 strength, even the supporting ships. So essentially, the Navy is doubling in strength. You have to be attacking, but it doubles in strength and 3 bonus points right there. The 3 strongest cards that Greyjoy has, and they sound OP, right? But all of these cards, used properly, all of them are very strong. Even Aeron, the most useful 0, the most dangerous 0 card in the game. All he has to do is discard 2 power tokens, and then he gets to discard himself, and you get to choose another card to go into combat. So this is a very, very good piece of cannon fodder to use. All powerful. Greyjoy needs to use Moat Cailin as a demilitarized zone, or needs to occupy it and defend it to make sure Stark doesn't come south. Lannister is obviously going to move into Riverrun, which means that Greyjoy needs to use its powerful navy, supporting navy, to attack into Riverrun. Typically, the counterattack always works, and Lannister has to retreat whichever direction they need to retreat. But bottom line, Greyjoy can easily solidify all of these territories on the coast and defend all of it with its navy. This is assuming Lannister doesn't use a raid order to raid its support. So there's that. Which way is Greyjoy going to go? Are they going to go south or are they going to go north? Well, once again, let's just say Lannister needs to deal with Tyrell, House Tyrell, or House Baratheon. They can make a peace treaty with Greyjoy, and then Greyjoy can head north. But only with, diplomacy. The stipulation, the deal breaker for that is, hey, we get River Run. Stark can do the same thing. They could be like, hey, don't occupy Moat Cailin and we will be just fine. But once Greyjoy gets its navy, if they could just get one navy out here, one ship out here, or just one ship in the Bay of Ice. Let's say that we wiped out Stark's navy, assuming Stark even has a navy. We can easily take troops from Flint's Finger and attack Winterfell. Or we can take the Stony Shore or Castle Black, whichever one. But a march north is not a dream for Greyjoy. It's actually probably the most attainable thing that Greyjoy can do. As to where taking Lannisport might be a little more meat grinding. One way or another, if Stark is here at Moat Cailin, I think Greyjoy will definitely need to make offenses in both of these directions, here and here, in order to gain the respect of both of these houses, assuming they're not too pissed off. They are not too pissed off to retaliate against Greyjoy. These are very, very offensive moves that are offensive in nature, but once again, so is the nature of Greyjoy's position. Theon Greyjoy, if defending an area that contains a stronghold, gets 1+ bonus point and a sword icon. So that's a very good defensible card right there. If Asha's not being supported, this card gains 2 sword icons and 1 fortification icon. She's weak, but if she wins combat, she's going to kill a lot of soldiers. A lot. So that's House Greyjoy. There are several alternative routes they could take. House Baratheon and House Greyjoy can tag team and go north, which probably entices Lannister to make a treaty with Greyjoy so they can head north. But once Greyjoy occupies the north, that's a whole cash cow of barrels and farming tokens and all these other things. Greyjoy needs these strong cards for how squeezed in they are early in the game. And House Greyjoy has the Valyrian Steel Blade. And even with the Valyrian Steel Blade, if House Greyjoy ties in combat with another house, the person at the top of the fiefdoms track is always going to come out on top. So let's say that House Tyrell and House Greyjoy get into a battle. And Tyrell has 5 points and Greyjoy has 4. Greyjoy can use the Valyrian Steel Blade to add 1+ bonus point to its battle points, to its strength, making 5 versus 5. So 5 versus 5 is a tie, right? But since Greyjoy is ahead of House Tyrell on the fiefdoms track, Greyjoy automatically wins the tiebreaker. So the Valyrian Steel Blade is an absolute asset for Greyjoy, and Greyjoy very often needs to fight to keep it terribly. I would put this above this in any bidding with Greyjoy. So that's House Greyjoy, their strategies, their overviews. their overviews. Which way are you going? North or south?